So welcome to today's webinar. This is an advanced book widgets session. So we're going to be digging in deep to the platform with lots of inspiration and examples for how you can do differentiated instruction with book widgets. My name is Kate Baker. I am the head of community engagement here at BookWidgets, and I am a longtime veteran educator. I've been in education for 24 years in various capacities. Longtime English teacher at the high school level, but I'm also an adjunct professor at the university level. So feel free to reach out and stay connected. For those of you that are new to BookWidgets is a content creation and evaluation platform for teachers, which will help you to support your students' learning process from beginning to end. We have a widget library that is comprised of 40 different templates, which we call widgets, for you to create activities that are interactive and engaging for your students. We also have 36 different question types, 30 of which are auto-scored to save you time and energy as you engage with your students. We also have integration with many of your trusted learning management systems so that you can deliver your instruction and assess your students in a safe and familiar teaching and learning environment. You'll be able to monitor student progress. If you're using a learning management system, the live widgets is great for being able to see your students' work in real time. But you'll be able to monitor their progress and provide feedback, both automated and feedback that you could do in the moment to help your students. And then all of this can be found also too in a reporting dashboard where we have insightful statistics that will help you to review students' work efficiently. You can, again, do comments and provide feedback. So you're spending less time on grading and a heck of a lot more time on personalizing and connecting. So yes, participants for today's webinar, you will be receiving the recording about a week, an email about a few days to a week after the webinar has concluded, and we'll also be including the slides, a PDF copy of the slides, because I have so many resources to share with you. So let's take a look at what is differentiation. Renaissance Learning defines differentiation as the process of introducing variations in instruction, processing, and learning time within a group or class of students based on factors such as their performance, mastery level, learning preferences, interests, motivation, and pace. So for today's webinar, we're going to be taking a look at differentiating based on skill level. We're going to look at how you can also differentiate based on learning needs, learning time, and those learning preferences. And I'll also show you how to differentiate with live widgets. So taking a look first at skill level. This is all about uncovering how well your students know the subject matter. So you can use specific widgets to differentiate based on your students' achieved results or performances. You use exit tickets, the quiz, video quiz, worksheet, or split worksheet widgets, the web quest and planner, games, and I also got some extra tips. So for exit tickets, some great examples for you to differentiate by skill level. Our exit ticket makes it super easy to do a quick assessment of your students during, after the lesson. So you could use this right before the bell rings or after you've completed a quick component of the lesson. So this provides an opportunity for students to ask questions privately, and, it gives them a way for you to get a signal back as to how they are performing. So this is the exit ticket widget. We have the first, it's only 2 questions. The first question is, did you understand today's lesson? This is pre-populated, but you can always change it. And then the answer choices are the sad face, the or the smiley face. And then the Second question is an open-ended question. And again, you could change this, but it could be just the generic question and then have the students type it in and submit it. So this is a great exit ticket. And Anna, I love that you use it and that you find it very useful. But you could also differentiate this exit ticket with a couple of other ideas. So you could use a worksheet widget. This worksheet has an annotate picture question. So what they're doing is this is a graphic that was created, and you could create graphics in Canva, Adobe Express, even Google Slides. You could make a graphic, save it as an image, and upload it to the worksheet annotate image question. And then students can type in their responses, typing in text, and then submit that. But if you want to try something else, how about a whiteboard? This whiteboard widget is, instead of asking your students to type out their answers, what you could have them do is use this traffic light. So again, we have the same background. And then what you can do is they can use the tools to color in the traffic light. And then you could have them explain, you could have them draw something to show how they feel about the lesson material. So, yeah. So glad you like these. But wait, there's more. What if you used an exit ticket within a video quiz? So if you're doing a really short video, so you would direct the students in the first question to watch the video. And instead of putting the questions throughout the video, you save it for the very end. So as they continue to video.
Welcome to Math with Mr. J.
I'm just going to pause it. You'll see that this is a 6-minute video. And then down here at the bottom of the screen, you'll see here's the question point at the end of the video. So I'm just going to click there. And then this pops out to a few questions to check their understanding. So you have students complete this numeric question. Scroll down, you got a picture multiple choice with how they feel. And then even a rubric question to let them self-evaluate and self-assess how they feel about the lesson and their skill set. And then they can submit that. So this is great for, again, you have 5 minutes at the end of class before the bell's going to ring. You've just concluded a portion of a lesson, and you don't want to quite move on to the next thing yet until you've checked their understanding. So these are great ways to do that. And if you're looking for even more, we have so much more. We have 60 ready to use exit tickets in the blog group. So when you create your BookWidgets account, if you have not already joined the blog group, you need to do that, because you'll see in this blog group, we have Dutch exit tickets, we have German exit tickets. Scroll on down. We have all of these different exit tickets that you could use to, again, 60 different ways that you could check your students' understanding and how they feel about the end of the lesson. Let me scroll back up. And then if I show you, how do you get to the BookWidgets blog? Go home just so I can collapse that a little bit. If you go into widgets and you scroll down to my groups, and then I'm in a lot of groups, but if you scroll down to discover groups and you just type in blog, you'll see, bloop, there it is, the BookWidgets blog. And this is, again, a great group for you to join. And then when you're in this particular group, any of the widgets that you find within here, at the end of the line, you can preview them by clicking on the eye. You can do the share icon if you want to. But first, what I would do is do the drop-down menu and duplicate it and add it to your widgets so that you have it right away, and you can edit it and customize it and even duplicate it multiple times to create different versions to fit your students' needs. All right, let's head back to the slides. So that's all exit tickets. So talking about the quiz, video quiz, worksheet, and split worksheet, a great way to help your students and to differentiate your instruction and set up your students for these different learning pathways is to use the automatic feedback feature. So you want to assess students formatively. So you want to give them that quick assessment for them to check their understanding. And then they will receive a feedback message based on their score. And you can set this up so that their score is visible or not. So you don't have to worry, like have them focus just on the number, like what was my score? Did I get 100%? You can take that out of the equation and just have the feedback differentiated. You'll know what the score is in your reporting dashboard, but the students don't need to know that because you want them to focus on the learning process. And then you can direct those who have mastered this subject to even more challenging exercises and also offer guidance to those that need some improvement before they submit their work. So let's try it out. So I'm going to grab this link. I'm going to copy this link address and I'm going to drop it in the chat for you all. Go. And while you're doing that, I'm also going to show you what it looks like. So, and don't worry, you're allowed to make mistakes. I want you to make mistakes because you can see what the feedback is going to be looking like. So here we're going to test knowledge on European cities. Included some audio.
What are the indicated capital cities?
So this is, again, an annotate picture question. We've got the background image and then some fields to indicate. And I'm going to say, oh, that's Belgium, isn't it? Oops, I spelled that wrong. And then, oh, that's definitely France. Well, that's Italy. I know that. Okay, I'm going to hit the arrow to the next question. Match the city with its monument. I'm going to intentionally make some mistakes here. I'm going to go this one. That. Cross. Let's go to the next question. To which countries do these food specialties belong? I'm going to purposely make some mistakes. Get to the end of the quiz, and I'm going to see the button. Instead of it being submit, it says show answers. I show answers. Yes. And now, oh, I got this feedback message that says, oops, try again. Go check your textbook, page 96, to go over the basics. I could also navigate to a new widget. Click on the pencil in the upper right corner to edit your answers. So this is great too, like for you teachers, within this feedback message, you could also include some resources like a map with the capitals. You could provide a video with some extra explanation. You could also include an audio message that you've recorded for the students. And then when they go back, they can check their answers and go back and go, oh yeah, I typed in the name of the country, not the capital. I was so silly. And then to edit, I can come in and say, okay, no, it's Brussels and Paris, Rome, London's gonna go here. Paris will go there. Next one. Italy, tapas, chocolate, cheese, fromage, paella, pizza, waffles. Next. And now I'm going to check my understanding. Yes, I want to see the answers. Woohoo! Good work. Go to the next exercise. Or if this is part of a web quest, you can have the password be and give them the password to be able to get to the next thing. So you can kind of leave them clues, little breadcrumbs to get them to where you want to go. So again, as the Teacher, you can also set up a start word password, not just in the web quest, but in all of your widgets could have a start word, start password. So this is a great way to, again, get them learning and moving along. All right, let me exit out of this. Okay, so did you all try it out? I hope so. That automatic feedback is fantastic. So let me show you where in a widget the automatic feedback is located. So in that video quiz worksheet or split worksheet, you're going to go to General. Then in the General tab, you're going to come up here to Correction and Scoring Options. This is where you can customize and differentiate if you want to show answers or not. Let them know what the score is, yes or no, even color code. You could have a password for the answers. But then as you scroll down, you have to check the box, allow students to correct or update answers. Then when you click on feedback, this is where you can add feedback, again, based on percentages. So you could do if the score is equal to 100. Wow. And with the rich text editor, you can include an image, videos, you can do audio, even embed a web page if you so choose, in addition to doing the text. We're going to add another layer of feedback. We'll call it, 90%. But if you don't, you could also just go, we will say 90. Good job. And then change it, to 70. Also make this one good job. And then you could also add feedback for, below 50%, or between the threshold of 70 and 50. Keep working. And again, be able to customize these messages and add them accordingly. So those are some options. Okay. Let's keep on rolling. So within the WebQuest and Planner widgets, this is a great way also to differentiate by skill level and use these widgets as a way to, again, create a tailored learning pathway for them where you're curating various activities that you want them to complete. So let's go take a look at a WebQuest. So in this particular one, the students are going to, again, learn about countries and nationalities. You are going to navigate through the WebQuest. I'm going to jump over here. We have the tabs on the bottom. You can set up navigation too within the WebQuest itself and provide students with resources for them to learn from. And then as they continue through different sections on a particular page, again, you could organize these resources. And then here we have on the exercises, a way for students to pronunciation exercise. They can go do the exercise and follow the instructions. So we've embedded a quiz inside of the WebQuest. So here students can practice, submit their work. They can get feedback on their work and boop, boop, boop. You could direct them based on the feedback back into the WebQuest. And then if you notice over here on the side, we have different sections. So you could use emojis to group some work together. So here we have in the purple category, watch this video. Now do this crossword puzzle. You could have the yellow group if they've been identified in that way based on their score. Notice it's not like red, yellow, green, or, we're kind of using colors here that don't necessarily correlate to a score, but to the students, but you would know behind the scenes what each of these groups might be. And then here's the yellow group gets, a video, and then to continue on. And again, they get another game to go practice and play before they do the test, and then the end. So again, you can create pathways of learning for your students. You can also do this with the planner widget, so constructing that interactive learning pathway. And what I love about the planner is that they are able to check the box that they've completed the different activities. Nothing's better than checking things off your to-do list, right? So here's the planner. So we can see in this particular one on the instructions, they're going to follow the learning path from top to bottom. Click on the images on the cards to open the assignments. And the colors on the cards have meaning. So blue is a category for theory. Purple, exercises. Green is easy. Orange, medium. Red, challenging. And then as they follow the path, let's go take a look. So here's the instructions. They would click on the image to go complete the different activities. And then as they do them, and they're like, yep, I watched that video, check the box. Yes, I can see the things I've gotten done, which is really nice. You know, and then again, being able to navigate to different activities. Okay. All right, let's keep going. So on both the WebQuest and the Planner, I have links to different webinars here that you will be able to go spend some time with and learn more about. For games, you can also differentiate by skill level. So the pair matching and the memory game are great to use together because for some learners, pair matching is easier than the memory game. You know, for pair matching, everything is revealed to the students. So as they look at the cards, they can see, you can match pictures to words or even audio to pictures and words within here of your pairs. So it's real fast and easy to say, oh, look at how quick I can do this. And you can almost make this a competition for how fast they can recognize specific. And if you notice, in each of these corners, when I've made a pair, an icon has appeared. So this is great for your perceptually impaired students who, you know, may have trouble seeing differences in color, that they are able to still see that they have gotten a match. Now, by contrast, so this is the pair matching, how fast and quick I did that. We go to the memory game. It's still the same content. I'm doing, you know, recognition of images of the animal with their name, but now I don't have, oh, I got lucky on that one. There we go. I got to remember, I'm using an extra level of my brain here to remember where was the word or the image that I saw. So, oh, I got lucky. Takes a little bit more of a cognitive load, but again, if you want to differentiate and still give your students similar but slightly different activities, this is great to do. Okay. Also, really great time saver for you is that you can easily switch between games using the import from widget option. So let's say you've made flashcards or you've made, you know, pair matching or one memory game, you've made one of these types of widgets. You can easily import from widget to create another version. So let me pop into my account real quick again. I'm going to go to my widgets. I'm going to create a new widget. And this time, let's say I want to make I'm going to make a pair matching. Okay, so here's my pair matching. I call it animals. And now super fast, get ready. I'm going to go to the drop down icon up here, the cog wheel. I'm going to select import from widget. And then I'm going to look for, I know I got, let's see. Oh, I'm not seeing it. Let me go. I want to import from a memory game. There we go. So I see this one. I'm going to select all and import. And then boom, my pairs have been populated and preview. Look at that. Super fast. I just made that. just importing from one widget to another. So great tool for being able to quickly and easily differentiate and make different options for your students. The randomness widget is also a great one to use for differentiation and making things easier or harder. So, and if you combine this with questions in a split worksheet, it's pretty cool. So, here's an easy example. We have the randomness widget is over here on the left side. Students can spin the wheel. They get 3 emojis, and then they have to do a creative story, filling in the information on the split worksheet. And then if we take a look at the more difficult version, what's the difference? Instead of 3 emojis, now we have 4. So you can change the randomness to be 1 wheel, 4 wheels, 12 wheels. If you really want to get crazy, you can do that. Games are also another game to differentiate by skill level is the word search. So for the word search widget, you can make this as easy or as difficult for your students in the following ways. You can have them search for a translated word. So if you give them you could give them words in English and say they're looking for them in Spanish or Dutch or another language. You can do a link or a connection in the box. You can delete the word list completely where they can't even see the words and they have to just go find them. You could also limit the direction of the words to vertical or horizontal and not include diagonal or backwards, or do include it to make it really difficult. So when you open up the word search, this particular word search I can tell is from the title is based on cell structure. And this can be pretty difficult if they don't know their word list. There we go. And, now what they're doing is because they don't have a list, you're creating the list through it. So that's one way that you can differentiate. So you could create different versions of the same word search and have the settings changed accordingly. Some additional extra tips and options. The rubric question is a great one to add into the quiz worksheet, split worksheet, or video quiz because you are able to encourage your students to self-assess their performance. And you, the teacher, are also able to evaluate them through the reporting dashboard. So this is a great way, again, that students are thinking about how well do they know the material when they answer a rubric question. And then when you go and review this, you're able to either confirm or refute what the student has selected. So you can say to them, yeah, I do think you studied a lot. You do think can confirm you did very well, or you need some more help. So it's great to do to help your students along. Another thing to consider with options is disable grading and correction. So you could disable this question has grading and correction on the specific question level. And then this allows you to include reflective questions in each assignment that they're intended for reflection and contemplation rather than grading. So we'll go take a look at this example. So this is pretty much a poll question. It's one question and it's a picture multiple choice. There's no wrong answer here because you're asking the students, how do they feel? And then they can submit it. And then when you go into your account, let me go back to that quiz I had. So when I'm on a specific question, if I scroll down within the question editor, you'll see it says add question. Oh, nope, sorry. You'll see this box, correction and scoring options. Oof. I can talk today. So here you have the box is checked that says this question has grading and correction. You can also change the scoring weight of it if you so choose. You want to make this instead of 1 point, you could make it worth 10 points. And if you don't want it to be scored at all, just uncheck the box. So you could do it for individual questions to determine if you want scoring or not. And then you can also go into general, correction, and scoring options. So this is the entire level of determining what the scoring will be. So just so you know, when you're in general, that's like the entire widget, whereas at the question level, that's for the individual question. All right, let's head back to slides. Also include some additional options is a word counter. So as you have students do a typed response that they're typing in an answer, you can include the word counter in there and specify that you want a higher word count. So having students type more would certainly make the difficulty level increased. And then as I've showed you before, I quickly showed you that import from widget using the gear menu. And if you ever need to go find that again, if you go, wait, how did she do that again? Our knowledge base is a great place to go see the directions and information. Sorry about that. Close the door on the dog. You guys heard him barking. All right. Okay. And let me know if you have any questions in the chat, and I'll make sure that I take a look at them. Yep. Let's see. I showed you that customizing the feedback display is something else that you can do when you are in the widgets. So this can be for the entire class or tailored for individual students that when you are reviewing their work, you can go take a look and see if and how they are doing. So, and you can determine if you want them to know total points, points per question, show correctness, or show answers, and accordingly with that. I'll show you some of the feedback stuff in just a bit. All right, let's take a look at differentiating based on learning needs. So there's some very specialized tools within BookWidgets that will help you and your students. So let's go take a look at those examples. So being able to allow text selection. So you can enable students using screen readers to read selected text aloud. You can turn on text to speech support so that a built-in browser voice can read aloud to your students. You can turn on spell check. You can also provide a calculator. You can record audio in any question using the rich text editor. You can provide certain students with more time in exam mode. You can also use the language settings to utilize emojis or to simplify your dialogues. So, the buttons within BookWidgets, like the interface, being able to make it easier for, let's say, some language learners and early readers to accommodate their needs. You can use that. Rich text is great for adjusting font and size. The design features to customize specific parts of the widget to enhance visual clarity. And then you can always duplicate widgets. Kind of think of them as like a master template and then duplicate it to do your selected options appropriately. So where can you find all these fun tools? When you are in a widget, so here I'm in my quiz on Greek gods. I'm going to go to the general tab. That's where all of these can be found. So this is where you can enable spell check or not. So if you want to test your students' spelling, you want them to know their capitalization, then you can uncheck that box to disable letting them use spell check. Text selection and text to speech. You have to allow text selection, which means that they can highlight on the screen. So I'll just show you in preview. So text selection means being able to do this, like highlight on the screen. I'm going to exit out of it. I'm going to uncheck the box and go back to preview. And I'm going to try to select. See, nothing's happening when I go and try to select this text. Now, why do you want text selection? Because then this will enable that text-to-speech support. And this is something that you're connecting BookWidgets to your browser's text-to-speech. So this is an inside BookWidgets. You're just making the connection. So you could use 2 different languages. You could have English. You could have a second language to support students. Okay. And then let's go to preview. And when I go and do text selection, now I have this little play button that appears in English.
Who is the king of the gods in Greek mythology?
Or if, again, I'm a developing English learner and I speak Dutch,
Wo is the king of the gods in Greek mythology?
then I can have that, again, text to speech. And I can, by clicking on that gear icon, I can change the settings. So if I need it to read slower,
Hello, how are you?
I can do that. If I want to change even the voice, I have options to choose that as well. So again, being able to differentiate for skill, this is really, really powerful. Yes, Jim, it's great. It is great. And I'm so glad you saw that. Now, those design features, when you are in preview, now you'll see design appears in the upper corner. So this is where you can choose to do a dark mode, dark background. You could change the color, and you'll see you've got options to choose from that are automatically given to you, but then you could also click on the color palette to change it. If you wanted to add a background image, you could do that. But again, this is great for your perceptually impaired students, that if you need to do some changes in visual design, you can change everything. When you click on question number, it will, you can choose a different font. Then let's see, we'll do this one just so you can see it totally different. And I'll make it super big. And then now you can see how it's changed that. And I can even change the color. And again, now you can see for emphasis, things are are a different color. If I want to make it italicized, I could do that. You could be Alice down the rabbit hole with some of these design features. So again, you have to go into preview and then to design to see that. All right, so that was text to speech and text selection and the visual design. As we scroll down, there's some additional options that you could enable in a quiz, video quiz, worksheet, or split worksheet widget. So having an on-screen keyboard that if, let's say you're on iPads or wherever, like you don't have a great keyboard for students to type with, you can enable that. You can also have, and also this is great for special characters too. So if you're doing math symbols or Espanol and you need the enye, having that extra characters is really helpful. You have a scratch pad that you can enable, equation editor, so lots of things there. Now for exam mode, you're going to come over here to reporting. And exam mode really just means that you're enabling a timer. So this is also too, if you don't necessarily want students to submit their answer, like you don't necessarily need to collect their quote unquote paper, their work, you can enable submitting of answers. And then this whole widget is just for practice. But if you do want to have that data, you'll have that box checked, and that is checked by default. You could change it so that students could only submit once if you don't want them to change their work. And then when you come down to exam mode, this is where you can change that timer. We're going to enable time mode, and then you can say how long you want them to do this activity. If you want it to be a super fast timed event, they have 3 minutes to complete this. Just be aware that as soon as you open up the widget, the timer starts ticking. So just be aware of that. So don't set it for too short amount of time. Okay. All right. Language. This tab in your editor will allow you to set the text direction. So left to right or right to left, depending on which alphabet language. If you're using Chinese or Arabic, you can have translation also within this. Yep. So being able to give students more time. This is where I would say you would duplicate the widget, because the under the reporting, the exam mode, this is setting the time for this particular widget. So if you want to have more time for some students, then what I would do is I would close that widget out. I would duplicate the widget. Yep, I'm going to just keep it in the same folder, duplicate it here. You'll see there's 2 different versions here. How will you know which version is which? Well, you can get creative. In the title, you could include an emoji. So Greek gods. I'm going to go lightning bolt. There we go. So I know that this one is set for super fast. I could also put in this one in the about section. The about is only for the widget editor. So if you are using this or collaborating with another teacher, this is in a shared group, only you will see this. The students will not see this. So in the about, you can say timed for 15 minutes, and that this is a quick activity. And then I'm going to close this one. And then my not super fast one, I'm going to edit this one. And again, you could do any emoji that you want. You could also I'm just going to do a green dot because I don't want necessarily them to know like slow. I'm not going to put a turtle. But then I'm going to say that this one is for extended time. And then when I go to reporting, exam mode, maybe I don't even make it timed, that I can just let the kids go and then just say it's not timed. So that's one way that you'll be able to do it. And then you just need to know that when you go to share it with your students, that you are sending it appropriately. If you're using it through an LMS, that you're sending it to that group of students or whatever other channel you may use to differentiate. Okay. Oof, we got a lot. Oh my gosh, there's so much stuff to go through with this. Okay, so I've covered text to speech. If you want them to know how much time they have spent on it, yes, you do have to use exam mode. So if you really you want to lock it down and say they only have 30 minutes for this, and you want to keep them to that 30, yes, then you have to use exam mode. If you want to just let it be, I'm going to tell you you have 30 and give you a verbal direction to your class, you could do that. It doesn't have to be the thing. Yep. And for you to know how long they've spent, I'll show you that in the reporting dashboard shortly. Okay, so you'll see that type of information in the reporting dashboard and in live widgets. Another immersive tool that you can use is Immersive Reader with Microsoft Edge. That is a great one for support. And then also, this is where it's sharing with specific students. If you're using Google Classroom, you can do an assignment specifically to a group. Same thing with Microsoft Teams, and you select your students and post that assignment accordingly. All right, differentiation based on learning time. So widgets to set your own pace. Good thing you're talking about time. And then we also have widgets with audio functionality and video functionality. So letting them work on their own pace. The planner widget is great again, because as I showed you before, you can have students check the box that they have completed the activities that you've listed for them, and then they can access them. I'm gonna go back to the list. When they're done, they can check the box that they've done it. But then if you want to give them choice, you can set it up within the planner that when they click on this plus icon, now they have all of these different activities that they can choose from to add to their planner. So you could give them directions to say, you're going to pick 2 blues, 2 reds, or 1 of each color, and adding that accordingly. So that's a great way to build in choice for your students and letting them choose what pathways they want to take with their learning. For the web quest, it's the same thing. You can also differentiate, as I showed you before, but then secure certain tabs with passwords. So here is this one. This is an example of a learning mix. So this is pretty much like a template that you could use to build out your learning pathways for your students. So we have the start, then they go, continue to goals, they do their things, read the information, continue to assignment, read the information, continue to activity sets. And then as they go and do these things, they would get their password. So as you see, there's this lock icon down here. If I go to preparation, it's locked. I have to enter in a password in order to get into it. How will I get the password? From the automatic feedback in those other widget activities. So great way to help control and direct your students and kind of unlock their potential. So if you want to know more about that, we do have a great blog post. So lots of resources again for you to be able to really go exploring. Audio is great again to build in for your students some additional support. So you can embed audio in any question.
Click on the audio icon and connect the word you're hearing with the right image.
So they've listened to the instructions, and here we're using those emojis to give a signal for what to do.
Sun.
And
The
they
sun.
can get that immediate feedback. Those check marks have appeared to let them know that they have done this correctly. So again, you can see pair matching here, listening to the instructions. Now it's pair matching with words to text, etc. Within a worksheet, audio, same thing. Here's audio directions, but then you'll notice here's this speaker icon.
Tiger.
So for your perceptually impaired students,
Sheep.
or if you want to, they're not necessarily readers yet, that they can look at the image,
Cow.
listen to the audio to identify what it is. So this is great for your elementary students. Which animal has an E sound?
Which animal has an E sound?
Right?
Sheep.
And then, yes, I was right. So again, that automatic feedback is fantastic to build in and to help your students along. For the sake of time, let's see, I'm going to show you one more. I'm going to do the pair matching this one with some audio and text to speech. So you can see what that looks like. So you can see we have the cards have an image and then words, and then where it's a word, we have this icon up here.
Football.
Now it reads aloud to me what it is, and I can, whoops, that's American football. There it is, football. Yay, I've made my match. So again, the audio stuff is great for supporting your students. Lots of places where you can include audio. You could even include it on a hotspot image. So here's a particular game. Find all the quadrangles with 2 pairs of parallel sides. You'll hear this if you're wrong, and you'll hear this if you're right. So now on this hotspot image, all the hotspots are hidden behind the scenes. And when I click on, yay, I was right. Uh-oh, I was wrong. But this is great for a formative assessment, for a quick practice. I don't necessarily need to be collecting grades and scores from them. All right, video. You can add video all over the place. In the rich text editor of the quiz, split worksheet, and video quiz, you can include it at the question level. But in the split worksheet, you can also have the video on one side and then the questions on the other for them to answer. And again, to check their understanding throughout. Within a quiz, you can have video embedded inside of some information of a question. And of course, the video quiz, where the whole activity is centralized around video. And then you have the cue points where it will check their understanding. I'll show you one more worksheet. So the animals question here, this animals worksheet has every question and shows you where. Here's video embedded in a text-based question. But with the rich text editor, you could add video in any question type. Okay. For tip tiles, you'll see video will appear when you click on the play icon. And then now that tip tile becomes some video or, you know, some text-based information or icon for them to quick caption to see. Okay. So lots of stuff. Even in a hotspot image, you can embed video functionality. So if you want students to learn more about particular elements on your hotspot, you can have a hotspot just be a video to give them that information. Okay, thinking about differentiation based on learning preferences. So student choice, I've mentioned this a little bit already. So what you're going to do is give students the same subject matter. They're all getting the same content, but it's just how it's delivered. So students can, you know, learn the same content in different widget types. And you can build in some choice with this by allowing students to choose which widgets to play with. So the planner, this is a great one again in the web quest for organizing all of your information and activities that you want them to do. So here's that book report. They would listen to the instructions. And then on the plus icon, now they can pick from the list of what you want them to do. Same for the web quest. We've mentioned that passwords to be able to get them to where you want them to go. And then they do their different tasks and choosing, you know, again, the pathway to get there. So planners and web quests are great as like containers of activities. If you're new to BookWidgets, the planner is very easy to use for that. The web quest might take you a little bit longer, but it's definitely worth the investment of time to create those curated collections. You could also use QR codes for rotation stations. So if you want to share a widget, yes, you could share it through your learning management system, but you could also share it via QR code. And then you could print the QR codes, put them up around your classroom, and then students can get up and go scan the code with their personal device and do the activity. So it's not always just faces in screens. You can get them moving around the room. And then here's some widget variations. So it's the same content in all of these. And all of these activities were created using that import from widget option that I showed you earlier. So here we have a crossword about different fruits. The clue is in English, but the answer would be in French. So provide the correct word in French. Here's pair matching. Nope. So here's memory. Here's a memory game. And then they can practice that accordingly. Here is randomness. They can practice learning what their words are and naming the different exercise, naming the different fruits in the language. You could do a quiz. You could do, I haven't showed you flashcards at all. I love flashcards because you can use them with audio images.
Une poire.
So you can have the audio also within flashcards. Tip tiles, and I already showed you a hotspot image. So again, lots of ways that you can differentiate through widget variations. So for live widgets, if you want to play, I'm going to grab this link and drop it in the chat. If you would like to play as students, this is my demo classroom. So I'm going to give you lots of choice, and you will be able to go play, and I'm going to show you some of the data. Now, if you weren't able to join last week's webinar, I had just finished editing the video today, and I will be sending out an email probably tomorrow with the link to the webinar and the link to clickable slides so that you can access all of those resources. But if you go to YouTube, you'll find it under Teaching with BookWidgets playlist because I just put it up there today. So you will receive last week's webinar for those of you that have requested, who have registered for that one. And all of the webinars that we have done, you will definitely be able to get it. For printing certificates, I'll have to show you how to print from the certificate page. We'll do that in just a minute. And let's pop over to the reporting dashboard and live widgets. Let's go take a look. Oh, did I close out my screen? I did. Yeah. Give me 1 second. So I do have I got to grab the certificate from last week. Give me just 1 minute to get that. And hopefully you're still playing on the other widgets because I'll pull that all up momentarily. Pull that back up for you. Okay, just give me 1 second. And last week's webinar was on live widgets. So if you're playing right now with some of these widgets, when I pull up my reporting dashboard, you'll be able to see some of the data in real time of what being able to monitor student progress right away. Okay, so almost there. Okay. Okay, share this, got this link. Things are going to go to me. So you're going to get that in just a moment. And then let me pull up my reporting dashboard. Ah, there you are. You're back. Okay, so let's go to live. So if you have shared your widgets through your learning management system, this has to be through your learning management system. And let me just pop into my account real quick so I can show you where to connect your account. So when you go into the accounts, scroll down and you're going to go to linked external accounts, and you're going to connect, if you're using Classroom, your Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams for Microsoft, and Smart School if you're using Smart School. And if you're using another LMS, send an email to our support team, support@bookwidgets.com, and we'll get you connected. And then make sure that you've checked the box, that live widgets, that this box is checked so that live widgets will be tracked. This box is not checked by default. So you want to go into your account and make sure that that is checked. And then when you do that, now we'll go to live widgets. I'm going to go to my live classroom. And then now I can see, ooh, 3 minutes ago, someone was doing the arithmetic crossword puzzle. And now I can see, yep, Carolyn, thank you for popping in there less than a minute ago. So if I didn't want to show you student names, I could hide them. And then I can go take a look and see exactly where she's working right in that time. So you do get some limited data, but you do get some good information about where are they in this moment for live widgets. Now, if Carolyn submits, when I go to grades and reporting, in the grades and reporting dashboard, this is where I will see who has done what. So someone did an SEL check-in. This was not graded activity. And now I can go in and see who was working on it, what time they submitted. So I'm going to go into Anka here. And now this is where I can do the feedback. Oh, sleepy. Yeah, it's probably late. And then I can see how we're feeling. I can enter in comments and let them know. So this is not scored, but we're going to say it's correct. Okay. And I can put in a comment, and then they would see that when I return a copy of the work. So if you have to have email addresses in order to be able to do return copy, if you don't have an LMS, okay? But being able to use filters, I can score student work very quickly. I can, give great data on how are my students performing. So that will inform my instruction and help me be a better teacher. Okay, so if you want to know more about live widgets, we have a blog post that has the complete overview of it. We have lots of resources. And again, when you get this PDF, you'll be able to go exploring. And if you want to sign up for some additional webinars, if you go to bookwidgets.com/webinars, we have quite a few coming up. So we're going to be doing world languages and app smashing will be 2 more webinars that are coming, and you can check out all of them on our webinars page. And if you're looking for webinars in other languages, you can go to the Dutch, the French, the German page. And as I scroll down, you'll see here's the ways that you can register for each one. And again, I'll be sending out an email after the webinar. Just give me a few days for today's webinar, and you'll be receiving that. Additionally, some resources, the tutorials, our knowledge base, which is our frequently asked questions. There's lots of resources to be able to get through there. And we have a fabulous community group on Facebook, so you can connect with other educators around the world. And the blog is awesome. I am a little biased because all of us at BookWidgets do writing for the blog, and we got everything for everyone on the blog. So lots of things, 30 ways to teach with interactive image-based lessons. Ooh, some fun differentiation there. We got equity in ed tech. We have poetry lessons, French lessons, do even older posts. I got math. We got so much stuff. And if you want to filter by topic, you can filter, and then I'll give you the whole list, and then you can go exploring and checking out which ones you want to use. Okay, so I am so glad our roads have crossed. I'm going to stop the recording so that I can give you the